It's on! Hey everybody, welcome to the return, finally, of Disney's Parks Talk Live, the weekly show in which we talk... Okay, come on. Really. No one likes this. This is how it goes. No one touch it, or I'm going to start booting people off the channel. The show in which we
wait, that's how I do it?
No, is that easy?
The week in theme park news, or in this case, the 6 weeks in theme park news, give or take. We have not done this in a while. We've had various jaunts all over the country. We've had the 50th taking over so much. We did come in to do some special episodes for the 50th and for Genie, but now we're just going to do a regular, ordinary episode. Let's do some introductions since it's been a while. My name is Doobie, co-founder of Laughing Place. That's me. Right over there is my wife, Rebecca, the other co-founder.
Hi, everybody.
Her lips do move despite that. Down there is the vice president in charge of Star Wars and Southern California coverage for Laughing Place, Mike Celestino.
Hello, thanks for having me.
And down below, the one and only Jeremiah, the man in charge of the entire solar system and the LP space program. Jeremiah Good. How you doing, Jeremiah?
I'm doing well, and if I learned anything from that 50th special, I'm supposed to wave like this.
Isn't this how you cheer in ASL?
It's similar, but applause, yeah, similar.
Okay. Anyway,
that's what the Beatles used to say. The people in the balcony should applaud, and the folks up front should rattle their jewelry.
Okay. Not a reference, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although it does have a nice Disney World tie-in with the Beatles and the Polynesian and all that. Come on, Jeremiah. That's a huge tie-in.
Please, do you know how many times I have to explain that to people? What do you mean that the Beatles broke up? No, they didn't break up. The paperwork was signed. They weren't at the Polynesian.
The Beatles broke up with the Polynesian, for those that don't know. Anyway, we're going to talk about the weekend theme park news. If you have any questions on Genie, on the 50th, on anything else, go ahead and put them in the comments. You can raise your hand if you want, but we won't see you unless you're one of the 4 people here. So let's get started. I think we've got some breaking news. We have our big list of stuff to cover, but then this huge item broke just before we went live. Jeremiah, do you want to talk about what's going on at Epcot?
Oh, it didn't break just before. We've had it just sorry. Breaking news. There is a brand new experience at the La Cava Tequila Bar in Epcot. Please head over to the site, read all about it. It is an extra charge. I have not got any full confirmation on what the charge is, but I believe it was around $160. It's something that I'm going to rush to because tequila is number one in my book.
Mike Celestino, do you like your tequila?
I don't think I can drink tequila because, my allergies.
Oh, wow.
Rum is good. I can have rum.
Yes, you can.
How about
Jeremiah has seen me drink rum.
All right, so that's not actually a huge story, the tequila experience coming to Epcot, but it did happen recently, so we started with that. But let's get back to the more. So we're not going to go over all the 50th stuff because that's all happened. We covered that extensively. We're not going to go over all the Genie stuff. We did a special cast just for Genie, but we would be remiss if we didn't touch on it to an extent, especially since we've done that broadcast. Genie attraction list has been given for the Disneyland Resort. So first of all, do we know when Genie is coming to the Disneyland Resort?
No, we do not. That hasn't been shared yet.
But presumably it will be eventually.
That's an excellent answer.
Very good.
Eventually.
Very good.
If I might go out on a limb, I would say sooner rather than later, if you define sooner as within the next 3 years. So we talked extensively about the Lightning Lane and the immediate Lightning, the Genie Plus and the immediate Lightning Lane attraction. Individual Lightning Lane attractions. At Walt Disney World. So they've released what they are for Disneyland. And interestingly, Disneyland Park only has one individual Lightning Lane attraction, right? So every park at Walt Disney World has 2 of them, but only one at Disneyland, which is Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, which means your regular $15 Your regular Genie Plus, do we confirm it's $15 at Disneyland as well?
It's $20 at Disneyland.
Okay, so your regular $20 Genie Plus will get you everything except for Rise of the Resistance. That will be priced as an individual lightning lane, whereas at California Adventure, there are 2 individual lightning lanes. Those would be Radiator Springs Racers and Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure. So that would seem to make sense for that park, wouldn't you think, Mike Celestino?
Sure. Although Geo in the chat says he's surprised the Indiana Jones Adventure didn't get picked, which is the other one that was using the virtual queue recently. So that would have made sense also.
Yeah, I find Indy has such a good throughput that it doesn't necessarily need it, other than when they have to save queue space because of COVID. What are you looking at, Jeremiah?
Or that it breaks down more than it's running each day or recently.
So, but the thing I'm most excited about is Genie Plus now gets me on Goofy Sky School, and so real quick, maybe Rebecca. Like 2 minutes. Genie Plus individual lightning lane.
Go.
What are they?
Oh, well, the wonderful thing about Genie is that it's
Genies are wonderful things.
Is that it's finally going to bring to light some of the things I was expecting when they first announced My Magic Plus and My Disney Experience, and that is that you're going to get a personalized itinerary, some ideas suggested to you based upon wait times, your interests regarding attractions and dining, and that's free. But then there's this additional level that is the pay level, and that's where you get to bypass the standby queue on many attractions, and that'll be a flat fee. You can hold one of the, you can do that one attraction, and then once it's done, then you can, once you've turned in your lightning lane for that one, then you can get your next one. So it's similar to the Max Pass system that they had at Disneyland Resort. So it's going to change the way that we've been booking Fast Pass. No more waking up, when you're Walt Disney World 180 days out and booking 3 of them. It's not that kind of thing. Instead, it's going to be, in essence, you're booking it throughout the day. And the Genie app will be, the My Disney Experience will be suggesting to you possible times for that, when, that type of thing as well. And then on top of that, but you don't have to join the Genie Plus in order to access these, is going to be a pay-per-ride experience. And that's for some of the most popular attractions, and you will pay per ride. You can only use that limited amount, and only once on the attraction. By the way, that's the way it applies with all of these. You can bypass the standby queue one time for the attractions. So that's another element that's different with Max Pass. If you wanted to, like Roger Rabbit all day, you could just keep, using your Fast Passes, and that will not be the case under this Genie Plus and individual lightning lane system, which is going to change the way we do parks a little bit.
But if you wanted to do the Roger Rabbit all day, you're more than welcome.
Correct. Just wait in that horrible, miserable line.
There is no longer a Roger Rabbit, I thought.
It's still, they haven't changed the name yet. Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. It's still called Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. Disney's very release just now of what will be in Genie Plus says Roger Rabbit Cartoon Spin.
No, I wouldn't go by that.
I was going to say, considering the other typos in that, maybe I shouldn't go by it. But, hey, yeah, I like this. You're not the only one, apparently, who's questioning such things. You and Tony Betty on the same page. Whoa, who'd have thunk?
Wow. I don't know who's less proud of that. So, Jeremiah, you were the person who attended the Genie media event for Laughing Place at Walt Disney World. So I think Rebecca covered the Plus and the Lightning Lane very well, but you really had to see Genie itself. So can you quickly talk about what Genie is?
So this is the way, as soon as I saw it working, and they showed us the back side of it also, it doesn't look like the front side. Think of when you're using a navigation app to drive somewhere. Mostly I compare it to Waze because that's the one I use the most. Where you're driving and all of a sudden something pops up like, oh, there's an accident. And Waze goes, okay, so there's an accident this way. So we're going to change you to this path. You'll walk into the park, 60 days when you book your reservation, you'll start putting what you really want to do on the Genie app. As soon as you walk in the park, it will give you a live itinerary. It'll say, okay, you walked in the park at 9:03. So 9:10, the lowest wait time, you should head to Buzz Lightyear. Then you're going into Tomorrowland. And it'll say, while you're here in Tomorrowland, go do Carousel of Progress because that has a low wait time. Oh, you want to do People Mover? Go do People Mover. But that will be a longer wait time right now. But if you want to come back later, it may be a little bit less. And then it will give you live updates as you go around the park. And say you're like Mike and you have specific dietary needs and you decide you want to eat at Be Our Guest. No, not Be Our Guest, because you would have had to make reservations for that. You want to eat at Pecos Bills. It will take into consideration where you want to eat. So instead of saying you're going to Tomorrowland at 3 o'clock and when you're really hungry, it'll send you towards Adventureland and Frontierland. It works fresh off what you decide. And if you decide, like Mike, I don't want to eat there, I'm going to go off property and eat someplace that I can eat and not feel sick, not because of the Disney food, but because it was dietary.
I was like, wow.
You can remove where you're going to eat, and it will just say, okay, then go do this ride, this ride, this ride, and this ride. And if you want to meet Star Wars characters, sticking with Mike, this would be where you would go, and, right around this time is a good time to do that.
Yes, Mike.
Oh, I wasn't raising my hand. I was adjusting my screen.
Gio, yes, there was information that you put in there about, dietary needs, that type of stuff. How far that will actually make it, we don't know until we actually have it fully in our hands on the next.
What I'd love to see, I would love to say, I'm here for fitness. This is my fitness vacation. And that way it gives you just the most circuitous route to do your day possible.
That'd be awesome. That'd be so good. It's been an hour. You should do the treehouse again.
Yes, exactly. Which is a total joke, except once you've got this tech in there and you have all this data, you could have fun and totally do stuff like that.
Oh, 100%. Or if it was the anniversary of a certain Imagineer, can you imagine if they had like a Mark Davis Day itinerary or something like that? I mean, I hope we see that kind of stuff. I don't know if we will, but I would really love that.
Or, like you can do a famous Gary Fisher chess match. You can give me the itinerary of when Jeremiah did that every attraction in one day.
I like that.
I think you're thinking of Bobby Fisher.
You're right, I am.
I'm not sure who Gary Fisher.
Gary Fisher is Carrie Fisher's dog.
You know what I was thinking? I was mixing up Gary Kasparov, who was, I think, a different chess player, and Bobby Fisher. Anyway.
So one of the things about Genie Plus that we haven't talked about, at least as far as out here, is the sound bites. We got to tease a little bit of those where you would go in and you book the Genie Plus. So you have the filters, so you can do photos with Mickey on your shoulder or the characters.
Yeah, those are cool.
But there was also the audio clips of different Imagineers and different attractions, and it was just I would definitely enjoy hearing those. I mean, sadly, I'm sure within a week we'll have them all over the World Wide Web. But I was trying to listen to as much as I could, and they're like, "Sir, you should be playing with the." I want to hear what they're talking about pirates.
So what you did here, was it generic voice person, or did they have the Imagineers talking?
It was generic voice person, the bit that I heard.
Okay. What
they had said was, yes, there will be Imagineering clips. So I didn't get a chance to go too deep into it to hear if they talked to Tony Baxter about, the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea space, or Mark Davis old interviews about how much he hates pirates out there or anything.
It'll be fun if they pull up archival moments so that you
Yes.
can hear the very people who worked on the attractions talking about it, or maybe old clips of it'd be fun if they did, because I know, having attended many a presentation by Stacia Martin, there is a treasure trove of Disney Resort audio out there, promos, ads, commercial jingles and stuff, as well as interviews that were done at the time, and it could be really fun to feature them for people who want to explore such things, because theoretically you're going to be in standby queues a bit more, so hopefully they won't be very long, but you will be in standby queues.
Well, no, that's with the Genie Plus, so you won't be in the standby queues with those.
Well, no, because you can only do an attraction once. So if I've finished with Roger Rabbit, I got to do something to pass the time in that Toontown queue. So,
You know the most beautiful
I have a
part
very, very negative feeling about that town queue if you haven't caught on yet.
the most beautiful part about all this, for some people, not me, is you take this community activity called going to a theme park and you turn it into a bunch of people staring at their cell phones with their headphones in their ear listening to audio stuff. Anyway, so in Paris, they've been doing individual lightning lane under a different name for a few months. They call it Premier Access.
They've been doing it for a few years.
Have they doing Premier Access? Has been a year?
Well, I'm sorry, I interrupted it. They've been doing the pay for the lightning lane, the fast pass, that kind of stuff. For a few years.
And they've also, so is Disneyland, but the individual buy one ride. That's relatively new. That started a few months ago, I believe, with original prices of 8 to 15 euros, which is similar to what they gave us the price range here in Florida, $7 to $15. And they have recently lowered those prices by 2 euros on both sides, now 6 to 13, which and it doesn't seem to necessarily be because of the season, because October is a busy time for them and reservations are hard to come by right now. So that's just an interesting thing to look at. Obviously, these prices, if they need to sell more, if they need to sell less, prices can always change. So it's just interesting that they have made a change out there in Florida. Thanks to Edith, we have a Paris correspondent now.
I met in Paris.
That's so cool. Yeah, Florida, in Paris. We have a Paris correspondent, Edith, now, and that's pretty cool. They also have themed individual lightning lane, what do you call them? Redemption centers?
I call them kiosks, but
kiosks. Sure. So I think Rebecca's about to show one of those. So I'm guessing that is for Space Mountain or Splash Mountain.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Buzz Lightyear, I would hazard a guess. They're cute. The touch points for your individual lightning lane.
Oh, October 19th. Never said that. A week from tomorrow, Lightning Lane, Genie Plus, all debut at Walt Disney World. Oh, what does that say, Mike?
Star Tours.
Is it too big? I mean, too small?
FLIGHT flight on T. It looks like it's supposed to say flight on time, but the I is missing.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Maybe it's French.
Could be.
French gotcha. Like
Flight en team. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So, je pense. Sure.
I'll go with that.
All right. So that's kind of your Genie Plus, your individual lightning lane, your Premier Access. As I said, we did a long. Tony's impressed with you, Mike. We did a nice long stream with lots of Q&A, a lot more detail.
I did not cheat despite having this cheat sheet here above my desk.
I prefer to think of that as your study device. Cheat sheet.
Mike is a genius. Check out that stream. It's on the same YouTube channel, and you can learn a lot more about it as well.
And we have several articles on Laughing Place going into further detail as well, if you prefer to read.
And as I said, they debut a week from tomorrow. And
a week? Is that French? En français?
En français, a week from tomorrow. And Jeremiah, I presume you will be in a park to experience it firsthand?
It will be at Magic Kingdom, yes.
So looking forward to that. This is potentially a completely new era in Disney theme parks, or a huge flop. We will find out soon.
Isn't that everything coming out of Walt Disney World these days?
Speaking of completely new era or a huge flop, Jeremiah, did you book your trip on the Galactic Star Cruiser?
Yes, what was it, April 31st? I'm on that.
Oh, I'm on that same one. So reservations became available for the Galactic Star Cruiser about a week ago, within the past week. I don't think any of the four of us made a reservation. I know some other LPers
I know other people who have. Yep.
Yeah. Interesting thing is, this takes place a long, long time ago, prior to computers, apparently, because all reservations need to be done by telephone, is what I've heard. There's no online reservations, which is interesting. But we recommend you go to Mouse Fan Travel, our travel partner. They have a place on there for you to say you're interested. Let them do all the hard work for you. You don't need to wait on hold. You don't need to deal with any of that stuff. They'll take care of it for you. MouseFanTravel.com.
And that's no extra cost to you.
Never.
They take care of it.
Never an extra cost to use Mouse Fan Travel. And a lot of times you get some extra perks.
Do they have a Lightning Lane identifier yet over at Remy Ratatouille? I can't remember. It did say Fast Pass for a little bit, didn't it?
So the pre-opening for the media, they had the Fast Pass, Standby, and Single Rider, and then opening day they had Lightning Lane and Standby.
Okay.
But they'd moved around each of the, like, Lightning Lane was the former Single Rider, and then Standby or Lightning Lane Fast Pass was blocked out, and then Standby they even changed the font for that. So yes, it's there, but it is still all in the works. Or maybe it's a virtual queue. Let me see if I even have that picture.
One of the things I noticed when we went to Ratatouille during our visit was that rather than have the mouse head touch point for your redemption, to bypass the queue, it has an R like for Ratatouille, and I just thought it was kind of funny since it's a rat that they didn't have the traditional mouse head touch point.
That is funny.
So that just caught my eye when we walked through. I also noticed the single rider signage when we were there too, which made me happy because I like single rider line opportunities. And yes, Tony Betty, they can help you book a cruise on the water as opposed to in space.
So Gio, speaking of the Galactic Star Cruiser, says he wishes he could do a cheap flight for one, but 4 to 5K, no thank you. Now I know Mike Celestino. He's probably going to get the chance to at least check it out because he's a special guy and people like him. But Mike, if someone gave you, separate from all your other income, here's $5,000, how much of that would you be willing to spend on the Galactic Star Cruiser?
Oh boy. How do we know how much does it cost? I think
it cost about $5,000
per person.
No. I think for a couple.
It's double per room, double occupancy.
Okay, yeah. So 2,500. Yeah.
But you can't. But if you don't have somebody with you, you pay.
Right, you have to go with somebody else. Yeah.
So would you take, if I gave you $5,000, would you take all of that and take your lovely wife, or would you say nah? Still too much.
As a Star Wars fan, as a fan of immersive theater, my curiosity would get the better of me, and yes, I would probably book myself a trip on the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Well, guess what, Mike? No, just kidding. Right. I don't have $5,000. Not even close. Morgan, regarding single rider Ratatouille, thanks, Rocket Rods.
There you go.
I don't get it.
I like
Rocket Rods were the first attraction to have single rider line.
Right. Okay.
It made a lot of sense there since they had like single rows.
Yep.
I didn't know that was the first one to have single rider. That's a great trivia question, Jeremiah.
Because it was 5. It was 3, then 2. I actually have a giant single rider laminated pass that I used. Well, I got it, and I was in line for 3 hours before it broke down, and I just walked out, and I never gave it back. Sorry, I'll return it if they ask.
So, do you have it sitting next to all your flick passes?
I don't have any flick passes.
Let me introduce this one, please. Over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, One Man's Dream has now added a...
Nope, Walt Disney Presents.
Yeah, that's what Tony did too. I just wanted to see if you would.
Sorry, I'm looking for photos. You can go on with your wrong nomenclature.
I'm sorry. Walt Disney Presents has added what used to be there?
That was where the Batu model was for the...
wow, that sure overstayed its welcome.
Yeah, they just took it out, 2 years after it opened, but technically it was only a year.
It's still cool.
That's true. It's still cool, but not as cool as what's there now, which is a nice display for the Disney Wish, including, I think this is the first large model they've had on display for it, right?
Oh, I hope that more of these pop up all over the resort.
So if you go to Walt Disney World, so many of the resorts have a large model of one of the cruise ships like this. But this is the first one we've seen for the Disney Wish. I'm sad that it's not in the middle so we can see all around it. We can only see one side of it. But it's just fun to look at all the details there. And then they have other concept art and such from the Disney Wish there. So if you're as excited about the Wish as we are, less than 1 year until our first cruise, go check that out over at Walt Disney Presents. Right, Tony?
Yeah, lots of stuff. I'm excited. I'm really, really the more information that comes out about the Wish, the more excited I get. Another example is that they announced some of the youth experiences and how it's going to have like a Star Wars creature keeper kind of experience with porgs and Dianoga, Los Cat. I'm super excited for the fun. It'll be fun.
I hope porg is on the menu so bad.
Do you like yours roasted or deep fried?
I like my pork tartare. You know, just
still squeaking.
That's just great.
Remy is 3 and 3. That is odd for a ride vehicle, isn't it? 3 people in a row.
Not as odd as the seat and the lap bar being damp when you grab onto them.
Rebecca, you got to ride. So we haven't done one of these since Remy's actually open. Tell us a little bit about your Remy experience.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the attraction. I like it more than Runaway Railway, which I think is horrifying to people. But it has a lot of elements. I didn't know that it was going to have like violating my personal space experience, things that smell, things that get me drenched, things like that. But I liked them. They were good, especially once I realized that was happening. Because like I say, when I initially sat down in the vehicle, it's like 98 degrees outside in Florida, and I put my hand on the bar, and it was damp.
I believe it says you may get wet.
I didn't pay attention. I was a tourist on vacation, and I was like, wow, that person ahead of me must have been really having a hard time with the Florida heat. And I was kind of grossed out, but then I processed. Oh wait, in-ride effects, I hope. And so then when we actually had the in-ride effect, I was able to relax a little bit more. But like that's just me. But it was fun. I love the trackless fun of the attraction, to be there and to just see the vehicles kind of appear, in front of you without rhyme or reason. You're like, whoa, wait, that car went over here, that one went over. That's fun. The transformation when you're in the queue, where they are, the visuals indicate to you that you're now rat-sized versus human-sized. That's fun. Yeah, it's a sweet attraction. I look forward to doing it again in the future. And then I feel like I'll have a much better idea. The one thing I will say is, like, for me, if you want to stay immersed in the attraction, eyes forward. Because I felt like anytime I did kind of a bit of a peripheral look or look to the side, the experience is so based on your visual link to the images in front of you that it really took me out. Like Soarin' or Avatar, Flight of Passage, if I look to the side, it's like, yeah, I'm in a theater ride vehicle, but it didn't, like, I don't know, pull me out as heavy. But with Ratatouille, as soon as I like looked to the side and kind of took myself out of being totally visually immersed in what they wanted me to see straight ahead, I felt like I really got pulled out of it. So just, different. Go ahead.
So I have to throw counterpoint, because actually it's designed to look around, because when you're moving at one point, they have the giant wheels, so it looks like you're underneath the cart. And when you go into the one room, there's like a giant broom on the side. And even for one of the exits, it looks like a rat gnawed the hole for the exit.
Okay, I should have been more clear. When they park you, there's parts of the show where they deliberately park you in front of a screen. And when they're parking you in front of a screen, don't look around. That's that's where I'm referencing. You're right. The other parts where you're traveling through, look.
Wait a second.
Yes.
This is an attraction, a ride, where there are times when they basically just park you in front of the screen and you become just like a seat in a theater?
Well, there's motion, but yeah. So you like travel, boom, travel. It's very much like Antarctica.
Don't say no. Please no.
No. I'm sorry, but if you look at the ride design of this versus that, they're not that dissimilar. The experience is dissimilar, but the actual what vehicle A is doing and then happens, and then what vehicle B is doing and happens is not that dissimilar.
So
just done much, much better.
Yes.
So Winnie the Pooh, Pooh's Honey Hut in Tokyo was the first trackless. And that is the Antarctica's direct descendant of that. Remy's is more a direct descendant of Mystic Manor in Hong Kong, where it's more the vehicle and not just lots of spinning. And then Runaway Railway is the direct descendant of Great Movie Ride.
But like Antarctica, at the conclusion of the ride, you do get off to a cool rat display.
You're freezing.
And you don't smell the rat poop. Sorry.
yeah. Miserably cold.
A lot of rats.
Yeah.
So let's see. We were talking about the Disney Wish, and well, let's see what.
Oh, by the way,
Gio has to say.
this is an important.
Both you stop.
Gio has a slightly different experience depending on what vehicle you're in, but not as drastic as Runaway Railway.
No, each of the rat vehicles have their own personality, as they would say during the presentations. So when you're pulling out of the load, there may be one rat that spins in circles, and then the other one kind of moves slowly, and the other one's really the speedy up one.
Yep, it's fun though. I hope Mike C gets to experience it if he didn't in Paris.
I've done it in Paris.
Yeah, what'd you think of it when you were in Paris? I can't recall.
I was a little disappointed.
How would you compare it to like a classic Fantasyland dark ride like Pinocchio?
More screens.
Yeah.
The one out here is much better than the one in Paris, Mike.
I will say I've heard that. I don't know if it's true, but
Wait, whoa.
I know.
I've been told over and over it is identical to Paris.
So the ride, the screens, everything's identical, but the 15 years that they built the original one, I know it's not 15, it's like 10.
Why'd you say 15?
Because it seems like it's 15 out there. In French years,
just stop. Just move on. Just ignore me and answer
there's not as much motion in the vehicles. I don't know if you remember, Mike, just kind of like it felt almost like you're just moving. You'd pull into the little dome room and it just like you'd sit there.
Yep.
This actually feels like you're scampering. The smells are there. The wet, you get the spray, which before it opened, you weren't actually getting as wet from the champagne bottle in the final scene. There was an airburst, and I haven't felt that airburst as much anymore.
I will say I would have preferred a bit more. I want to say side to side. It does. I think it does a lot more. You do a lot more pivoting on this axis than on this axis. Our ride vehicle. So
yes, Mr. Bob Newell. In French years, the attraction had been very much torn apart. So it is much like dog years. In the Paris parks, 1 year can equal 3.
But that whole area is really beautiful. It's fascinating. I did not expect it to be the way it was, in that it dead ends. Like, I thought it would connect through to, I didn't know how. I mean, I didn't really think about the design thing. But no, I mean, just because of that area the way it is, I thought that you would, like, I anticipated being someplace different, and I didn't expect to enter that zone and experience the attraction and then just turn and walk right back out. For whatever reason, I felt like somewhere in there'd be an alley or something that would connect me to the perfumery or to the, whatever else is over there. And that isn't the case. And that was surprising to me.
Cool. So that's Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Before that, we were talking about the Disney Wish, which is the next ship coming to the Disney family, because the last ship to come to the Disney family just came recently. It's not a big one like the Dream and the Fantasy, but it is a little tiny one that is on the Bay Lake and Seven Seas Lagoon, and that is the Trade Winds. Did Rebecca? Yeah, she got a picture of that. And the biggest reason I put this on here is because someday I will retire from my very important job, and when I do, I'm going to be a boat driver at Walt Disney World. So it is very possible I will be driving this Trade Wind someday. So this is exciting to me.
Do you know why I love this boat?
It's orange?
It reminds me of Cabana Bay.
It does. Which is funny because it's in front of a hotel that costs about 5 times as much that you don't like as much as Cabana Bay.
Correct. I would prefer Cabana Bay to the Bay Lake Tower, but yes.
You just don't like spacious bathrooms? Is that what I'm getting?
I did not find my bathroom spacious at Bay Lake Tower.
Did you have to stand on the toilet to get out of your bathroom in Cabana Bay, though?
Our bathroom is like the size of a bedroom.
I did not.
At Bay Lake Tower.
It was broken into 2 in ways that I did not find convenient.
Oh, okay. Like the sink area was humongous.
Yeah, the sink area was ridiculously large. The toilet zone was ridiculously small by comparison.
Toilet zone.
What? Hold on, before we jump to anything.
And the toilet paper roll was way too far away from the toilet.
What is
Bay Lake Tower?
Tony's drinking? What is Tony drinking?
He's drinking Peru. I don't know what that is.
Well, he's having French bread and French dressing too.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And to drink Peru.
Yeah, who knows? Is it too soon to talk about Harmonious?
Harmonious.
Let's get through the actual past week, and then we can get to some 50th stuff if we've got time at the end. So, meet and greets are returning. Indoor meet and greets are returning to the resorts. Princess Fairy Tale Hall, meet Mickey in his new 50th gear. You still don't get to hug them. You still don't get your autograph. They're still keeping some distance, but at least you can go indoors and meet them and get your picture taken with them, and get to see all the cool theming they've built around these indoor meet and greets that have been closed, since the parks reopened. So that's pretty exciting. Do we have dates on those? I don't think we do.
November.
So we have general dates on those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've said November from what I know.
And then also returning, it's just fun to see things coming back one or two things at a time. The Japan drummers returned on October 1st. And coming in December, I'm guessing it takes a long time to get this thing geared back up because they've been called back to work apparently, but it takes a while to get them ready. The Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular returning to Disney's Hollywood Studios in early December. There is a date. I just can't recall it.
Well, for the Indiana Jones, and actually for all the entertainment, it's not so much being called back, is they have to be re-auditioned.
Totally
they have to, redo everything. I know that I've heard that there's some born people that may show up in Disney's Hollywood Studios at some point in the future.
Oh, don't tell me they recast the Japanese drummers.
No. It was very fun to have them back. I'd forgotten how much kinetic energy is added to World Showcase with those live entertainment, because without the live entertainment, right, you just have these static structures. And so you add the mime, you add in Italy, you add the drummers in Japan,
Alberta Bound in Canada.
In Canada. And not only do you have the music, but the crowds and everything. There's just, like I say, there's this nice kinetic energy. Poor Kyle.
Close the video.
Yep. Sorry about that. Yeah. I got to it. It's okay. I was trying to do it on the wrong screen and too. So there you go. But yeah, it made me really happy to see them.
Indy returns December 19th. And also Hollywood Studios, November 7th, Disney Movie Magic, the nighttime experience celebrating Disney's live-action legacy returns. That's November 7th. So it's all coming back. We've already got kite tails happening over at Animal Kingdom. So Yeehaw Bob returns. Oh, in 3 days. Are you going to see Yeehaw Bobby or Maya in 3 days?
I won't be there because I'll be working. But tomorrow I will be at Animal Kingdom for the return of their live entertainment. I believe you'll be joining me at some point for that too, Doobie.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Oh, very nice. This is news to Doobie, but okay.
Very cool.
Very exciting. So I think that's the main stuff. Yep. Anything else someone wanted to mention before we do a little bit of 50th talk in general so we can keep Mr. Bob Newell happy?
Mike? Oh, Mike, tell us about the Haunted Mansion drive-thru experience. Haunted Mansion Holiday.
Yeah.
Haunted Mansion Holiday drive-thru.
Your drive-in, not drive-thru.
Oh, the Muppets. Yeah. I went to the premiere in Culver City, California, of Muppets Haunted Mansion, and Gonzo and Pepe were on hand to introduce it, and I got some swag, which is in the other room, so I can't show it to you, but if you give me a minute, I can run and grab it. Otherwise,
you want to do that? We can talk about Space 220 while he grabs it.
Go grab your swag.
Go grab your swag. We'll show off. We had the opportunity to dine at Space 220. While it isn't a 50th event, it's opening during the 50th anniversary. It is
at Epcot.
It is at Epcot. It is a Patina Group restaurant. These are the people who brought you Catal at Downtown Disney, California, along with Naples at Downtown Disney, California. I've been a fan of their restaurants for many years. They also provide the catering at the Hollywood Bowl. For me, Space 220, I was more impressed by the food than the venue. It is not an inexpensive dining experience, but the 3-course meal we had was filling. I did not leave desiring more food. So that was nice, which isn't always the case when you do fine dining. GB, what did you think of your fine dining experience?
The food was phenomenal. It is probably the best food at Epcot, in my opinion. And overall, the best dining experience at Epcot. I was not disappointed in the theme. I was surprised. It was not as themey a restaurant as I expected, and that surprised me. But considering the quality of the location, I think that the theme fit in at just the right level. So if you're bringing your kids, expecting them to be entertained, have proper expectations. But if you're an older kid like us and going to have a nice meal, I think you'll appreciate the quality of the food, the quality of the service, and the fact that you just have a unique experience 220 miles up in the air looking out over space and Earth without it being an intrusive experience. I think it, given the right expectations, it's perfect. And it is expensive. That's really the only downside, but I don't think you're going to be disappointed if you decide to spend the money.
But Kyle represents part of my disappointment with it. I envisioned it being a bit more of a rotating experience rather than just a static image outside my window. I envisioned kind of somehow we would be panning or there would be some element of motion. But really, you're just, in a station 220 miles above the Earth. So the Earth isn't moving. You're not moving. Things happen in the window. The Earth transitions from, is timed. So like we were there from daylight hours to evening hours. So we did get to see kind of darkness fall over the Earth and slowly the city lights illuminate across the Earth. But there was very little change in the view screen, which surprised me.
Well,
yeah. I expected that too. I think it worked fine like this. But go ahead, Jeremiah.
Because you're traveling like with the Earth, theoretically.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that a lot of people were expecting. Oh, we're going to be transported up there. No, you go up in the elevator that is connected to Florida. Mm-hmm. So when you go up and down, you see Florida, and like you said, you saw the lights. You'll see clouds come over if it's cloudy. When you're going the elevator up or down, if you're going into a storm, you'll actually go through the storm when you're going up or down. You'll see, there were people lightsaber fighting. Mm-hmm. There's lots of things. And that was one of the things when I did it, I was like, I wasn't sold on the idea. But then when I got more into it and my server started telling me about seeing Astro and the little boy playing off in the distance, or the construction workers fixing and building more of the space station, you have to definitely suspend your disbelief and just go, oh, wait, I'm in a space station sitting above.
And for me, I think a lot of those elements would have played for me better if they weren't all set kind of within the same plane of existence. If I would have had something that felt like it was right on my window, as well as something that was 25 feet or 50 feet or something away. But they all kind of existed right. Like every person that showed up in my view screen was kind of about the same distance away from the station. So it stopped playing for me in a way that kept me in the story. And like Kiwi points out, the physics are realistic. So the reason why the things that happened that I thought would happen weren't happening was because if you have an elevator in a restaurant tethered to Earth, they couldn't move. They would have to be within the same, visual of Earth. They would have to, in essence, move with the Earth. And like I say, for me, that just that's not how my brain had processed the experience we were going to have. So for that reason, I was, like I say, less impressed by the theater experience of the meal, but I was far more impressed by the actual meal, so I loved it.
Tony, you are not the vice president of LP Space Program. I don't trust you on this. I'm going with Jeremiah.
And I was really hoping somebody would come by and like wash the window or wipe down the window or something.
See, so you mentioned
watching airplane here. What is
you mentioned the depth. There are times when you see the spaceship, like the Mission Space spaceship. But if something had come up right in front of the window for a moment, that would have been
that kind of thing. Because like I say, I just felt like everything was kind of just all happening within the same distance from me, and so I kind of after a while I was like,
But I'm very glad there was no whoop, 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 emergency, or some silliness like that.
Well, did you go use the restroom?
Yes, we used the restroom. Where
did you hear?
Message,
yes, that's my favorite. It's just like on Earth.
Yeah. So there's some of that, but we'll talk more about it. Doobie and I plan to this weekend do a lengthy discussion of our 2-week trip to Walt Disney World and get more into the experience. I love my son. He loves live actors.
Live actors flying by.
He spends he spends hours at like Discovery Center with the geneticists and stuff like that. So, you know, hey, if there were live actors, he'd love it. Can you imagine if they had like people suspended from wires, like just float through the restaurant randomly?
Yeah, that wouldn't be cheesy.
No, not at all. But I did get to have an adult beverage that had Tang. Juby got to have a mocktail that had Pop Rocks.
Yes, I did. That was fun.
Lean into the kitsch a little bit, so it was nice.
They do. It's a great balance to me.
Yeah, it's very well done.
But they err on the side of the food of the restaurant, not the side of the theme.
Correct.
Which is nice. We had like a 2-hour meal there.
It was wonderful.
Sometimes you go to a themed restaurant, they're just trying to churn you, and we didn't have that at all.
To kind of go off what you guys were saying about how the food's expensive. The food's expensive, but remember when we were younger and we'd go to Blue Bayou once in a blue moon because it was expensive? That's what.
Right.
20 totally. But the thing, I mean, this is a $75 3-course meal, but it is not. But it doesn't feel like a theme park $75. It feels like if I were to just go to this restaurant someplace else, I would pay quite a bit of money for the meal. So it has a different. Exactly.
That would be awesome.
See, that's what I was thinking. Like Living Seas is right there by the window. I was envisioning somebody like that being right by the window at some point. Not Mickey, but just something, kind of like that. And it's like I say, it all happened over there, so it all felt like it was on display.
Oh my goodness,
Tony! Just don't. Okay, Mike,
they were really good. The tuna tartare was amazing. It was amazing. And
did you guys ever?
Portion size was several times what you get on the Disney
Dive. Are you about to ask about Dive, Mike?
No, that's
I did do
though.
Dive was good.
I have been to Dive a couple times before it shut down. But there was one in New York called Mars 2112. Did you ever go to that?
No, that sounds.
It was another restaurant where they would shoot you up in space and you'd eat. Well, it was on Mars, I guess, instead of just orbiting planet Earth. But
did they play Rush music in there with the 2112?
I don't know why that date specifically, but
we want to see the swag.
Let's swag. Okay,
like swag.
I was going to ask.
Wants us to shut up.
While I'm showing this off, can you bring up the article about the event so we can show the drive-in hollow stream decorations?
It'll take me just a moment, but I will get that done. Mr.
So
Mike.
this is the Muppets Haunted Mansion tote bag,
and we're giving all this away, right?
No,
we're giving it away to me.
Yep.
On the back it says, "I survived the Great MacGuffin Halloween Challenge," which if you've seen the special, you understand that. There's a poster. I'm assuming this is just a poster of the. It's not that big. It's just the.
Special. Are you trying to pull it up, Jibby?
Yeah.
Okay, me too.
And then.
Did you get it?
Nope.
This is the T-shirt.
Yep.
Welcome, foolish Muppets. Dun dun dun.
Oh, that's cute.
It's got the mummy and the.
It needs to have another dun.
2 more. Dun dun.
Should be on the back.
Oh, maybe. Does it have a dun dun on the back?
No, it's.
Oh, missed opportunity.
They did not.
I totally see Mike wearing an orange tie-dye shirt too. By the way.
I know.
Okay, this was. Oh, this was just they gave out some food while I was there too that I couldn't eat. But there's that's Gonzo, a big straw Gonzo that was part of the decorations. This is Hollow Stream popcorn.
Ooh.
This isn't.
Ooh, lights.
This is like something you get in a dollar store.
It is. I got that last year at I believe Legoland or one.
Flashes. Flip, 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 pumpkins.
Okay, then you get a Muppets Haunted Mansion notebook. That's pretty good.
By the way, there's a shirt that was at Shop Disney. I think it was $65. It was one of those button up, and it was the Muppet Haunted Mansion wallpaper.
Yeah, you said that to me. I have the one that's the regular Haunted Mansion wallpaper, so it would be like too similar to that, I think, if I were to get that. But Hollow Stream stickers.
Ooh.
Let's see.
that like a Disney Plus thing? Hallow Stream? That's funny.
Oh, this is the cool one. The buttons. So you got
Oh, the wallpaper.
Gonzo, the Mummy, and the whatever that is. Miss Piggy and Kermit dressed like each other. Pepe and Welcome Foolish Muppets.
Cool. And some of those images are available as pins on shopdisney.com, by the way. I saw Disney... Kermit as Piggy and Piggy as Kermit. Ooh, Hallow Stream. I like that. That's cap. Cool. Are you going to be rocking that knit cap, Mike, now that the weather's cooling down?
Maybe, yeah. This is just a lollipop. Cake pop kind of thing. Oh, and then this is the other neat one. It's Muppets Haunted Mansion playing cards.
Oh, nice. Oh, I hope that are they fun? Do they have fun face cards?
Well, this is the Jokers are the note that Gonzo gets at the end. And then the face cards are characters. Like there's Fozzie as the Hatbox Ghost. Madame Pigota.
Oh.
Pepe.
Just close down Magic Kingdom Haunted Mansion now and put in the Muppets.
Shut up with that, Jeremiah.
What? What's wrong with that?
Then the Ace is Gonzo.
That would be the worst idea ever.
I do not like that idea one bit.
Was the show not one of the best things, and you laughed consistently?
But I don't see it carrying over into an attraction experience.
Did you ever see Nightmare Before Christmas carrying over?
I don't like Nightmare Before Christmas, so that's not even an option. I enjoy the attraction far more than the movie. So
that's a seasonal overlay. You want to change this attraction?
Yeah, I would actually
you would be happy,
fine with that.
Yeah,
Haunted Mansion is one of the classic attractions of all time, and you want to put Muppets in there, a flash in the pan.
A flash in the pan.
Yep, I did that. I just did that, Doobie. I just did that.
You should see me trying to look around. Who got removed? Oh, wait.
Oh my. See, I wouldn't mind seeing them make a change to the Muppet Vision 3D and make it like Muppets through Disney theme parks or something fun like that.
That's fine.
But I can't I don't envision. I don't know. I don't see.
But you can't.
That's such a bad idea
because that's Jim Henson's last project. So you're saying I don't want to change the Haunted Mansion because it's a classic.
No, I didn't say that. No.
Let me clarify.
I don't want to change the mansion to this because it just doesn't sound like fun to me.
I'm going to clarify I don't want to change the Haunted Mansion because it's still a classic. It is an amazing attraction to this day. It's not because of anything historical. You do not take something as amazing as the Haunted Mansion and give it some kitschy, cheesy overlay like the Muppets.
You're totally saying what has been one of the most popular attractions for the past 20 years at Disneyland, right there.
What?
The Haunted Mansion Holiday. Kitschy,
no, it is not kitschy cheesy.
Haunted Mansion
Muppets are by design. They're kitschy. They're campy. Haunted Mansion Holiday is not campy. It is a movie overlay for it.
I can't argue. I'm not arguing that one. I'm just arguing. I just don't see. I don't see how trying to, like, for example, just Miss Piggy. I don't see how Miss Piggy, Madame Leota is that entertaining for like an entire room.
The only reason Miss Piggy, Madame Leota means anything is because of the actual Madame Leota. It's a play on a brilliant piece of IP already. You don't. It makes no sense to change it to Miss Piggy, Madame Leota. It makes even less sense in 10 years. This is, in a sea of dumb ideas, Jeremiah.
Stop. That's too far. Bridge too far. I mean, I don't know like a seasonal overlay like they did with Nightmare if it became the seasonal overlay on the East Coast, but the notion that this would be a good long-term replacement is not one I can jump on.
Gio, I hate to say this, but you're incorrect. The Haunted Mansion at Magic Kingdom and the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland were both built at the exact same time, so there is no original.
Okay, that's also dumb. The one at Disneyland opened in 1969. When did the one at Florida open?
In 1971, but they are both built at the exact same
then
time.
One of them is the original. Oh my goodness.
So back to Muppet Haunted the experience.
And you're in charge of our space program?
They had a lot of hay bale creations, huh, Mike?
Yeah, so this is there all week in Culver City for this Hallow Stream Disney Plus drive-in event. They had Ursula and some other stuff for tying in with their Halloween promotion.
Those are some cool, very cool. I would love to see those hay bale thingies in person.
Yeah, they look
really
cool.
This would be fun in like the Esplanade area like they used to do.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. Or you know what? Maybe they could just get rid of the Haunted Mansion altogether and just put those there as kind of a walkthrough.
That's a good idea. I'll start that petition, and I know a website that may pick it up and make it real.
This sign makes me think of Twister.
Totally.
Right? Is it not?
I mean, because our son is our son, and we've seen it 100 times.
But yeah, but you know, it totally makes me think of Twister. The experience. Not, I don't have any memory of the film. The attraction. So yeah. Ooh.
All right. Harmonious or Enchantment, Jeremiah?
Harmonious. I have not seen Enchantment enough to fall in love with it, but
if it takes more than once, that's a problem.
No,
it doesn't. That's not
true. If you go back 3.5 years to when Happily Ever After opened, everybody hated Happily Ever After. Like everybody complained about that too, and now everybody's like, "Oh, bring it back."
Yeah, well, people complain about Michael Eisner, and you should see the way Twitter's talking about him right now.
Yes, or A Bug's Land or anything. I don't necessarily go by what everybody thinks, but when I see something, if I see a show, that show should wow me the first time. If it takes
I don't agree with that.
If it takes 5 viewings for it to wow me, it's not a good show because most people don't get 5 viewings.
I definitely don't count because just like Mike, we see everything the first time through the lens of the camera.
Okay, I don't count that, but one real viewing needs to make or break it for you.
No, Harmonious was definitely when I finally saw it without a camera, I loved it. Also, there is no more big US on there.
I don't even know what that means.
Like, you're saying you have to be like locked in a room, like you have to become at one with your captor in order to appreciate enchantment.
Oh, we got sorry. I'm gonna let you control the comments, Rebecca.
Harmonious over Enchantment all the way. Matter of fact, Harmonious to me is a Disney classic. Controversial, I know, but see, much like Jeremiah pointed out, people hated Happily Ever After first too, and some people hated Reflections of Earth.
A lot of people hated Reflections of Earth when it first opened.
No, I didn't. I loved Reflections of Earth from the start. Totally. Great music. Benji hated Reflections of Earth. Where'd she go? Nikki B, yes. Kite Tails wowed her. You can stop right there. You don't have to finish that sentence. Kite Tails wowed her, or Kite Tails sitting around watching Disney Parks Talk Live.
It is a very bizarre entertainment option.
I'm looking forward to seeing the full shows tomorrow.
I tried to see it on several occasions, and they didn't happen. And then it did happen, and it was only a B show option. They didn't have the big, enormous balloon kites and stuff. And just the idea. Yes. The idea that they just kind of crash into the bleachers. That's what they're supposed to do. Have you seen video of this yet, Mike C?
Yeah, I almost feel a little bad for Disney because the only parts that I've seen are the kites crashing. So it just feels like that's all that's out there. Like that's the whole show is they're just crashing.
No, the pre-show is really fun. Like I love them walking around, grabbing the kids, having the turtle parade, bringing everything out. Yes, come with us. Hold on to this thing and
run around if you want to live.
But I think the biggest problem with it is they did just like with Rivers of Light. They made it a real show when it needs to just be something you walk by, something that happens.
Which is what they're kind of trying to push it as now. But it clearly was meant to be a real show, I think. You don't have that much cast and all that without it being a real show.
But the thing that's, I'm serious. The thing that's weird for me is that those landings weren't planned to be backstage. That they, or in some other, just that was part of the design element, was that because audiences initially reacted as though, oh no, it's a problem, and now it's being responded to as, oh, that's the beauty of the show, the crashes. I mean, but it's just weird. It's not something we're used to in the entertainment. It's odd.
It'd be like if at the end of all the other shows, all the characters took their heads off,
right,
and we're just like walking around smoking cigarettes.
No, they're kites.
Yeah, with Epcot Forever, that's how the kites ended. They just turned out the lights. If you watch the kites, they still crashed into the water.
But they didn't look like Blue or Simba. It's just bizarre. It was an interesting idea to me. I was surprised that like when I first saw it, I thought, oh no, it's a mistake. But then when I realized that was actually how it was intended to be done, I just thought that was an interesting choice, given the way that Disney has not forced, but has trained me to like buy into their storytelling and buy into the visuals in front of me, that I'm now not supposed to believe that I just saw Simba die. Is
there no way for them to access a backstage area from that water?
No backstage area at all.
No.
Yeah, sure there is. Just go under the bridge, and just like they brought in Rivers of Light in and out.
But the kites wouldn't make it under the bridge, right?
It takes some skill. I'm sure they can figure it out.
But it's just it's like I say, it's a very different choice than I've expected. So
I love that we started this discussion talking about the incredible harmonious and the will get better enchantment, and yet ended up spending most of our time talking about the hard to believe kite tails, which pretty much describe the 50th anniversary.
Harmonious adds a tremendous energy to Epcot. I am still not sold on how important it is to be able to view the center ring. And that's where I'm not familiar enough with the show to know if I can't view it, will it hamper my experience?
I watched the first night from Dead Center. I watched the second night the same place that you did. And then I watched the third time I saw it, I was over by France. And you can't see the Stargate at all from there. And really, the only thing that happens is they just do a lot of the projections that are on the tacos in the Stargate, with the exception of Merida's head and the rows above. It's I think what it is they set up the expectation of, wait, we need to see this to enjoy the show. And people that are on the side going, I'm missing something. I just don't know what I'm missing.
Yep. And I mean, and that rose moment is a moment. And
it is.
And it when I was at Norway, I had no idea it had happened. And the show to me was less impactful when I watched it from Norway than when I watched it with you at Italy. But I don't know if that's because I'm still getting to know the show, or if that is actually the difference between having a better viewing or not a better viewing. And that's, for me, I'll need a few more times to really know.
But even then, I think it's okay. I think it's okay for a show to be better from certain viewing. I mean, fireworks are definitely best on Main Street, but we'll watch those from anywhere.
Yeah, I don't like to watch fireworks on Main Street, even now that they have all the projections. I prefer to watch them from Fantasyland. So, but you know that's a trade-off you're making, and I'm just not yet sure what trade-off I'm making. For me, Enchantment, the challenge I find with Enchantment, I like both of these shows. I don't consider either one of them poor or uninteresting or disappointing. I enjoyed both of them, but neither one left me as inspired in the way that Reflections of Earth did previously. And Happily Ever After, I always left that show thinking I'm going to conquer the world. I compare it to that sequence where Rocky is jumping on top of jumping up and down on top of the stairs there in Philadelphia. That's how I would leave Happily Ever After. And Enchantment doesn't grab me with that same kind of inspirational take on the world, you can do it way. And then the other thing that's different, and I have to prepare myself differently, is Tinkerbell is not set up auditorially. She's set up visually. So when I'm in Fantasyland, not in front of the castle, her appearance catches me far off guard.
Right.
As opposed to when you're on Main Street, because on Main Street, like I say, it's a much more visual sequence on the castle that triggers the arrival of Tinkerbell. So it'll take me longer to train myself for the more subtle auditory cue that is Tinkerbell. What is Jeremiah doing?
I'm trying to show Kyle I'm awake.
Oh, okay.
But if you do get to see Tinkerbell and realize what's going on, it is perhaps the best Tinkerbell introduction they've done thus far. But I think everyone agrees, including people scratching their heads with mouse heads, that the single best part of the 50th entertainment, the 50th editions, is what they've done to Spaceship Earth. So who wants to talk about that a little bit?
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, they got lights on that thing.
So the beacons of magic that... So everybody's seen the pictures. Our videos are really beautiful. I think one of my favorite parts of the entire media event, and this was more of just another cast member that I know talking to me going, oh man, we did the bad thing of showing you guys Spaceship Earth first. Because the beacons of magic are just supposed to be Spaceship Earth, Tower of Terror, Tree of Life, and Cinderella Castle with projections on it that every 15 minutes or so come to life a little bit more. Where Spaceship Earth had a full, they put tap lights in every single one of those corners, and none of them are out. It's just how the pictures come out. That the presentation that they can do on that is amazing. I mean, when they showed it to us the first night, they brought us out after Harmonious, and we saw it all lit up, and then we got to see it cycle through the different things that they could do. And that's even just the beginning. Just think of how World of Color can do, or could do, sorry, Tony, the amazing things that they could do with their fountains. When they turned it into the globe from Reflections of Earth with the world circling around, that is just breathtaking.
It's amazing. We were dining at Coral Reef Cafe. I was there with my friend Anita from Ohio. She hadn't seen it yet, and I knew that we were going to be exiting the restaurant after dark, and so I was eagerly awaiting the visual. And so as we walked out, the way the building is constructed and such, we weren't able to immediately see it. We actually had the opportunity to kind of make the curve and have a reveal, and you could hear it took her breath away, just coming around and the music was swelling. We just happened to be exiting at a time when they were doing one of the moments where the music swells and it kind of goes through a specific a pattern and everything. And I mean, that forecourt now with the ribbon of light going all the way around and the flags and the breeze and the way the planters can be seating, and then monorails going by every once in a while with the undercarriage illuminated based on the monorail color, right? Monorail red goes by. Just the whole environment is so pleasant. If I lived in Florida, I would be grabbing a beer flight from Epcot Experience and taking it and sitting there on the planter and enjoying a beer flight with Cole while I was watching Spaceship Earth transform. I say that because Cole sent me pictures of him buying a beer flight, so it made me jealous. But yeah, or grabbing some, one of my favorite new beverages from Club Cool, and sitting over there and enjoying it in that fort, because it's just so pretty. And there's always this nice breeze that seems to blow around Spaceship Earth. I love it, and I'm eager. But the other beacons of light are pretty too. Beacons of Magic. The one with the one over at Studios, I thought it was really clever the way they have Tip Top Club represented. In the side window, you can see people dancing the night away. It's what they've done with the with these pluses has been really, really nice. The castle looks pretty from a distance as well. It's as if somebody it's like an HDR photo in real life. It's bizarre. It's cool, but it's bizarre. By the way, Jeffrey mentions that someday, see, for me, Jeffrey, Harmonious, I get killed by the audio at the end. The dialogue at the end just totally like kills the moment for me. So I have to give it more time to adapt, because that voice is just so, for me, like off-putting.
So Gio, the Moana is the biggest movie for the kids. That's why we as the old people all think of, why don't they have this movie or that movie? The kids don't know those movies like they know
what I
Moana.
think.
Yeah, they should put the Black Cauldron in there.
Yeah.
I think why do they have any movie? Reflections of Earth didn't need a movie.
Oh, stop.
Promise didn't need a movie.
Stop. People want the movie. Plenty of people. I shouldn't say everybody, not everybody, but plenty of people want their
Walt
Disney
was
magic.
designing
Disney
Epcot
for a reason. They didn't go to Universal. They didn't go to SeaWorld. They went to Disney. Let them have Disney.
When Walt was creating Disneyland, let's see, how did he approach not using IP? Oh, that's right. He created a castle that was 4 years in the future to sell a movie.
And then he created his second place, Disney World, that not only didn't have IP, it barely had a theme park.
I'm not saying that you don't need to. I'm not saying never ever. I'm just saying that your evening capper, your nighttime thing, it's nice to have the Disney fun. Because that park currently, it will be, but I mean, that park hasn't had as much over the years, so it's nice.
I have no problem with it. I don't love the Moana music. I'd rather they spread out more on their IP, but mostly
you really didn't like the Princess and the Frog segment.
Oh, that was
that's not your taste.
That was bad shoving that in there.
Yeah, no, he didn't enjoy it.
I'm thankful they didn't try to figure out a way to throw some Marvel in there or some Star Wars in there or some of the fly-by-night Muppets in there. That would have really disappointed me.
What would you have chosen to represent the American Pavilion?
I would have to think about that for a moment. So you guys continue while I think.
Muppets Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, there you go.
Anything could represent the American Pavilion because all these movies were created by Americans, by the way.
As Kyle points out, they were trying to see how far they'd go.
Oh, jeez. It's just, I got it. They should have done a bebopulation.
Oh,
it's just a bebopulation.
Yeah, there you go.
I've got sweet savoir-faire.
Gideon coming in with American Tail. Nice. You know your dad well. Way to go.
That would have been okay. That would have been not bad at all.
Funny. We know it's not a Disney movie. It's a joke.
When Universal buys Disney, you can...
Tony said Soul. I'm not sure that's a bad idea.
Soul's represented in Enchantment.
Some of the fun things that are going on at the resort, if you're planning a trip, they have these medallions that you can buy at some of the resorts. They have, this one was for the contemporary. They're those machines like you used to get your pressed quarters out of, and instead they have these beautiful medallions with the 50th logo. In some cases, they feature the Fab 50 characters. In other cases, they celebrate the resort or the anniversary itself. Tons and tons of merchandise. These pictures crack me up because this is before October 1st, and it's so peaceful and tranquil. And it did not look like this when we went back by on October 1st. It was not a scene of tranquility. It was very chaotic. But there's a lot of nice stuff coming out. And one of the interesting things, and I don't know if this is totally by design or if this is in part because of COVID, because of all the ships that are sitting in the Long Beach Harbor, but they're releasing various elements of the Disney World merchandise in kind of segments. So you had like this initial push with like dated merchandise for the anniversary day, but they've told us coming soon is the Luxe collection. And that looks like it's a black leather and gold celebration line. And then they have this iridescent line that's beginning to appear more and more. A bomber jacket that's got that pearlescence has popped up in it. So, you know, that kind of thing that, like I say, that's a bit different than I think we're used to, but that's what we're going to be seeing with the celebration. And they've also tried to state, and I don't know, you know, we don't know yet how that is going to play out, but they've tried to reiterate, you know, don't stress. If something's gone right now, things will be replenished. It seems to be, this is an 18-month, I kept hearing, it's an 18-month celebration. So, you know, I'll be interested to see what products that were gone so quick we see back on shelves again versus which ones we don't, that kind of thing.
You mean like a 3-hour wait for a balloon popcorn bucket on the first that was
That kind of
back
thing.
3 days later.
But
You never know.
But the thing is if you're in retail, you can get a good chunk of your vacation money back by investing that 3 hours, and then you go sell it on eBay, and somebody buys it, and you get your vacation money back.
Wait, people buy stuff and then resell it on eBay?
I know, it's shocking. Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I know, it's amazing. When you come to Walt Disney World and you're landing at the Orlando airport, give yourself a little bit of time. They've got these great photo ops at the airport itself, just outside that Disney store. There between Concourse A and B. Terminal A and B is a 50th golden teacup, so you can get your picture there. So really, really fun stuff. Starts as soon as you land in Orlando.
Yeah. Even before you get there, when you go approach the trams, they have a bunch of 50th. What would you call those? Images.
The window decals.
Yeah, the window decals that you can get some pictures with.
I thought I pulled up a picture of this stuff to show. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I did. Hang on. I got to stop sharing and then reshare. Don't worry, Mike. We'll let you go soon. We're keeping Mike so long.
I had a question for Mike, but I forgot it.
Okay. And then in the cinema shop on Main Street, they actually had the vault collection there. And these were items that were reminiscent of items you would see in the 70s. For example, they were selling there this infant cap. I actually...
Really too small.
It's an infant cap. Somewhere in my archives are pictures of me from my first visit to Walt Disney World wearing a cap very much like this. And I suspect somewhere in my mother's treasure trove is this cap, because I can remember putting it on my baby dolls, because it's an infant cap. So, but I bought one now. I wish if it had been me and I'd have been in on those merchandise meetings, I would have told them to make it in an adult size, because I would have loved to have one. I would have loved to be able to wear this like realistically, as opposed to like it, being way too small. But I would have loved to have worn one of these, because it's just fun, because I have pictures of me as a baby at Epcot. At Magic Kingdom, but it's fun. So yeah, it reminds me of the place where they make the lemonade.
Yes.
Hot dog on a stick.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But yes, it does look like 3/4 of a beach ball. It totally does.
So I think that's about it. There's so much we did not talk about in terms of the 50th and stuff that happened around that time, like the redo of the contemporary lobby, the opening of Steakhouse 71. The list goes on.
Southwest Airlines airplane.
That's right, the new airplane. So all that's on LP. Just go check it out there, or Graham or Yahoo. Nope.
Check out our Instagram. We don't
Twitter,
have a Yahoo.
Our Twitter, our Facebook, and of course, don't forget to smash that like button, ring that bell, follow us on YouTube, and
Kyle,
that's pretty funny.
Talk to our CEO. I believe that he has a full tracking of where the plane is, because he's going to someday get on that plane.
Yeah, you can follow with the tail number. You can follow it online. Yes, we were doing it that definitely. Day. I followed it. I think it was flying over near where I was, but it was too dark at night for me to bother to do anything. Oh yeah, the awesome statues all throughout the park.
Yes, those the Fab 50.
We took a lot of fun pictures with those.
Okay, yeah. So as Tony said, you want to check us out on Yahoo, on GeoCities, LiveJournal, MySpace, Koala, all our cool places where you can see laughing places.
Koala.
I forgot about Koala.
Okay.
Wow.
Good night, everybody.
And we will see you next time. Thanks for joining us back on Parks Talk Live. We will be tomorrow with Disney Trivia Live. But before that, Rebecca will be returning with Barely Necessity, the Disney merch show. And then I have a feeling Jeremiah is going to be running his fingers all around his arms tomorrow as we do a live walk and talk from the park. Which park are we going to be in?
Disney's Animal Kingdom. So maybe we could see some of those kite tails. Woo.
That would be lovely. I would love to see the tail of a kite. And maybe we can see Jeremiah just slam into the bleachers. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.